Columbia River at the start-finish line. Mark Allen along with Steve Montgomery, and we have got some footage from inside the cockpit with Steve David riding along during that Heat 3B.
It's fairly spectacular footage, but it happens quickly. Now, in real time, well, we're going to first of all watch it in real time, okay? Watch the left side of your picture, and you will see the bottom of an unlimited hydroplane flashing. Look at that. That boat went directly over Steve David. I have never seen a picture like that. Wow, I believe we're going to back it up and we can show it to you a little slower next time, because it happens obviously very quickly at 200 miles per hour. But the U-13, driven by J. Michael Kelly out to the left, just got up into the air and went directly over Steve David. That could have been a horrible accident.
Never seen anything like that. You think you've seen it all. Here we come. One more time.
A little slower this time because it happens quickly. And you don't actually see the boat. There it is in the air. Look at this. Look how close that is to Steve David. Those are like gymnasts working together. It was close enough to take the wings off, and yet did not hit the main structure of the boat itself. I can only imagine what, I mean, these guys have nerves of steel, but even Steve David had to be going, whoa, what is coming at me here? Just a spectacular shot. And now he's slowing down, knowing that there's been a problem.
That's the kind of shot that leaves you a little speechless.
Absolutely. I think the fans back in the Midwest watching online have to be going, my gosh, I wouldn't have seen that for several days, and this is incredible coverage. But there's Steve slowing down, I believe, as the water comes back over the bow. Well, he described it as the boat. He was very nonchalant about it. He said the U-13 went over me and hit my tail. Well, it certainly did, but frankly, I'm probably a little more scared right now than he was then. Wow.
Some spectacular shots, guys who were taking that in the truck and racking it up for us and letting us see that terrific work. And for all the folks who are watching on the internet, some spectacular coverage here by all of the folks involved. It's worth another look. Let's go take another look at it.
On board with Steve David. Watch off to the left. You don't see J. Michael Kelly until he's in the air. And then suddenly, there he is, a 6,750-pound boat. It looks like it's going to come right through the windshield of Steve David's boat. It actually feathers out just enough that the wing barely clears the front of the boat, and Steve David goes right. The two drivers couldn't have been 3 feet apart at that point, and Kelly was right above Steve David. Wow.
Spectacular.
Great job, guys, in the truck. And I think we can take a personal moment here, Mark Allen, because as outsiders to this operation, we've had the pleasure this weekend of working with an outstanding crew here from KNDU in the Tri-Cities, and Tom and the guys from KHQ in Spokane with the beautiful big truck. General Manager Paul Doogie, when he told the race fans across the country the way he was going to cover this race and the fact that he was going to stream it the way he has with that beautiful high-quality stream, there was a lot of skepticism that it could even be done, and I think Paul and Tom and everybody involved have done a great job of putting away the skeptics.
It's been terrific. The coverage has been absolutely spectacular, and everybody is thrashing down in the pits right now. Let's go down to Scott Reister.
Mark and Steve trying to get some pre-race insight to you guys, except every driver, they're all business. They're all trying to get last preparations done, so actually declining our interview request, so nobody able to talk. If you look behind me, though, you can see the Vilwalk team try to get their last preparations in on the boat as they're strapping in Vilwalk here. Vilwalk's day so far, as you can recall, he won the heat yesterday. Today started out with a flip, no points there, but he won the other heat later today in Heat 3, so every heat he has actually completed, he has won. He's also the defending champion. Vilwalk says we'll have to wait till after the race to talk to him. We'll see if he's a happy man and he can defend his championship here at the Atomic Cup, the Tri-Cities, or Rumble on the River. Back to you guys.
And we should send more kudos down to the pit area, because it's Scott's first race as an unlimited reporter. He's done an outstanding job, and he'll probably be glad to get back to baseball, basketball, and tamer sports. But another young man who's done a great job here this weekend.
And we thank you all, each and every one. We are keeping an eye on our big countdown clock, and the time set for our final heat. 6:30 was the appointed time, and we're a little less than 10 minutes, or right about 10 minutes from there now, but the clock is not lit, nor is it counting down.
Talking about Dave Vilwalk, who Scott was just reporting on as his boat goes back into the water. You have to note the fact that nobody has beaten him here all weekend. Won a heat yesterday, won a heat today, and of course he had one that he didn't finish where he got a little too high in the sky. But if anybody is going to be called a favorite here going into the final heat, it certainly has to be Dave Villwock. And with that said, he has more high-speed, serious competition right now in this final heat than we're used to seeing. So this could be a barn burner of an Atomic Cup final, the one you're about to see.
Yep, absolutely everybody. There's nobody in the field who is really out of it altogether. We've got a couple of boats that maybe not as fast as some of the others, but if you look at the lineup for the final heat, you've got 3, 4, 5 boats in there that are absolutely able to win this whole thing, drive away from everybody else.
Steve David has had an outstanding weekend, actually leading in points right now, and you got to contend with Jimmy King. The U3, if he gets a good lane and a good start, could walk away from everybody. We're going to have the final heat for you. The winning driver will be crowned, and Atomic Cup 2006 will finally come to a sunny conclusion here in the Tri-Cities right after this. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you, Scott. We have boats out on the river. All we have left to do to make it a successful day is run the final heat and crown a champion. And Mark, we only need 5 laps to make that happen. Let's hope we get them in.
Let's take a look at the boats in the final heat for the Atomic Cup. The Miss Elam Plus, Dave Villwock, looking to be the second boat in history to flip and win.
If anybody can catch him, it might be Jimmy King driving the U3, piston-powered Conover Insurance.
The U5FormulaBoats.com, one of the 2 Formula boats here, and they made it into the final.
Will be driven by Mike Allen, we understand. Oh boy, Oberto, Steve David in the U6, the point leader so far with 1,000 points on the day.
And J.W. Myers in the U10 Miss Solutions Plus. That has the boat with the long yellow snorkel on it when we see the yellow boats come by.
And the U21, the black and gold area codes cellular, driven by the rookie, Kevin Aylesworth out of San Diego.
And the trailer is going to be Jean Theoret and the U37 Miss Beacon Plumbing. He's looking for his second win in a row. He won 2 weeks ago at the Gold Cup, but he's in the trailer position now, and that is going to put him at a disadvantage. Let's check out the drivers.
Theoret certainly would have been one of the favorites had he not been relegated to the trailer boat spot. This guy has to be the boat to watch.
Dave Villwock from Auburn, Washington, the Elster Manufacturing Miss Elam Plus.
And here's a look at Jimmy King all the way from Michigan to drive here this weekend. Certainly one of the favorites. If he gets a good lane in the U3, piston power could take him to the front.
Mike Weber out, actually it's going to be Mike Allen, his teammate, out in the U5. They put Mike Allen out in the boat all afternoon, and he is, coming into the race, was the leader in the National Drivers High Points Championship.
Here's Steve David. He's had quite a day. He's been involved in some incidents, came through them unscathed, came into the final heat with the most points of anybody, could jump up and win this thing.
J.W. Myers in the U10 Miss Solutions Plus. J.W. new to this boat, but he's getting the feel of it, and he's another guy who is a hard charger, and this boat could win.
Kevin Aylesworth, the rookie, is just doing a great job in Ken Muscatel's old U25. Now it's the U21 area codes cellular. Young man's done an outstanding job. He's had a great day.
And trailing the field will be Jean Theoret in the U37. The Miss Beacon Plumbing is not where he wanted to be, but he had a little bit of trouble earlier in the race, and now he is the 7th boat in the fleet.
And as we said, Theoret certainly would have been one of the favorites. We would have been watching for him to go to the front. That is obviously not going to happen, as he has to start behind the whole field. No way, even with that kind of boat speed, that he can catch the leaders. 1:20 now to the start as the field is forming up. J.W. Myers did this earlier, took the inside very, very early, plowed water all the way up around the end of the race course and secured lane 1 that way. We'll see if he's able to do it again. Theoret tucks in behind him. Villwock running up the course behind those two, and we see red to the right of J.W. Myers, so that is either the U3 or the Formula boats.
I think that may very well be Jimmy King in the U3 Conover Insurance. Steve David now starts to bring up the field, and we've got the Formula boats also coming up through the field as well. Dave Villwock again going to be in an outside lane, not way to the inside, but in an outside lane, probably a lane number 3. It looks like he may be sliding into 3 or even 4.
Kevin Aylesworth fans down in San Diego, we have bad news. He's at the dock. His boat did not start, so we have 6 boats running. Theoret still will have to trail the field now. We got to see what happens here with J.W. Myers on the inside. He's going to have a great lane, but does he have enough race boat to hold off all the speed that will be out to his right? Look at this beautiful shot now as they turn toward us with the setting sun lighting up those rooster tails. Watch the clock at 7, 6, 5. Here comes the start, Mark.
Everybody's backing down just a little bit. Looks like now they will be legal by about 3 boat lengths, and 3 of them lead up across. It's J.W. Myers, Jimmy King, and Dave Villwock coming across the line dead even as they cross the line and head for that Blue Bridge turn.
In his previous heats, Villwock has driven around the field in the first turn. Can he do it here? He's got a lot of speed over there. J.W. Myers still okay on the inside, but Jimmy King sticks his red nose out in front of him. We've at least a 2-boat race up the backstretch,
and
now we see some orange. Look at this. 3 boats side by side accelerating to 170, 180, close to 200 miles per hour now, and it's Jimmy King with the horsepower to stick his nose out ahead.
Halfway up the backstretch, Jimmy King about a 1-boat lead over Dave Villwock. He's outside of him. He's buried in the rooster tail. You can't see him, and it's J.W. Myers on the inside in the Miss Solutions Plus. This is going to be a drag race all the way around. Dave Villwock and Jimmy King dead even. A tight turn by J.W. Myers as they come off the turn and head for the end of lap number 1.
J.W. had it right on the buoy line, and look at Jimmy King. The Pistons are screaming. Dave Villwock is going to go by him right at start-finish, but King will still have the inside, and he still has J.W. Myers off to his left. Those 3 boats are going to be neck and neck as our first turn camera picks them up. Watch this turn.
You've got J.W. Myers on the inside. He still controls the race course, but Jimmy King has dropped back about 2 boat lengths, and Dave Villwock leads off the turn, now about 1 boat length, and you could throw a blanket really over all 3 of them. Only about 3 boat lengths between first, Dave Villwock and the Elam, second, the Conover Insurance and Jimmy King, and third, J.W. Myers in this Miss Solutions Plus.
Jimmy King's boat hopped just a bit right at the exit pin, and it cost him a little bit as Villwock was able to move away. Jimmy is slowing down. J.W. goes by him. We heard a pop. The U3 has lost an engine, and Jimmy King is out of it. And now it's up to J.W. Myers in the U10 to chase Dave Villwock, and that's exactly what he's doing. He has position on the inside, but he has perhaps the fastest race boat in the history of this sport to try to catch as Villwock comes down to finish lap 2.
Flying the boat across the start-finish line at the end of lap 2 is Dave Villwock, and J.W. Myers loses a little ground as they come down the straightaway. Your leader heading into the Blue Bridge turn by a full rooster tail length now. J.W. Myers has moved to the outside, so Dave Villwock has the course under his control.
And we have a story back in 3rd place because it's Jean Theoret. He was the trailer boat. If he stayed legal and started behind the field, he has accomplished quite a bit. He's gotten by Mike Allen in the red boat and Steve David as well. That's quite an accomplishment, Mark.
Halfway up the backstretch, you've got Dave Villwock now leading by 3 full rooster tails. He has the race under control on the 3rd of 5 times around. I think we failed to mention, but the final is a 5-lap final, and they are still running. But Mike, J.W. Myers now has fallen back, and Dave Villwock has this course under control.
We still have 4 boats in less than a quarter of a lap. They are led by Dave Villwock. It's a beautiful sight as they turn toward us, and the setting sun lights up those rooster tails. Villwock comes by us now at start-finish, and the overlap back to the U10 is just about this long as J.W. Myers comes by right now. So
if somebody has hooked or missed a buoy, and I think that may be Jean Theoret.
Theoret is driving through the infield. He apparently missed a buoy. He talked about the sun being a problem for him as he headed west, and he apparently missed a buoy. He's gone now to pick it up, and that's put Steve David back up into 3rd place.
Dave Villwock now off the first turn and heading up the backstretch. 2nd place, J.W. Myers, now just off that 2nd turn, and so it's almost a half a straightaway lead for Dave Villwock on the 4th of 5 times around.
So Jean Theoret continues to give us thrills. We were looking entirely the other direction, and when we looked up, he was driving through the infield, apparently feeling he had to go back and pick up a buoy. Jimmy King was going to give Dave Villwock all he wanted in this heat. His engine went away and kept us from the excitement that would have provided. Too bad, because now it looks like it's going to be all Villwock as he comes down to take the white flag. He'll have one lap to go for another Columbia River Championship, and Dave, of course, has a few of those already. Now, J.W. Myers comes by. Pretty good weekend for the team from Las Vegas in the U10 if they hang on to this second-place position.
Yeah, considering they ripped the bottom out of the boat in Detroit, and they had a lot of problems. They had to fix this boat and get it back into shape. So J.W. getting some seat time, but he is a full turn now behind your leader, Dave Villwock, off of turn number 1, the Blue Bridge turn, on his last time around.
And as you watch Dave Villwock, the third-place boat, Steve David, has just come by us here, so he is nearly a half lap back. We have some pretty good racing on the front straightaway here that our camera will pick up as it comes by, because the red Formula Boats is being chased by Jean Theoret. They are racing for 4th and 5th place, but putting on a pretty good show back there. We're showing it to you now as they come into the turn. We'll go back to the leader as he heads up here, because he'll be taking the checkered flag. And there is Dave Villwock turning to the east for the final time this weekend. He'll come down to take the checkered flag and the championship here in Atomic Cup 2006.
And another tight turn by J.W. Myers. He's not given up, but Dave Villwock has crossed the finish line in first place, and it will be the U10 Miss Solutions Plus with J.W. Myers in second place, and our third place boat now at the top of the final turn, and that should be Steve David and the Oboy Oberto. And we've got a pretty good little race here between John Theoret and Mike Allen for 4th and 5th place as they come through the turn.
Which is the race you're looking at right now. In the foreground, you see Steve David coming by to take 3rd place, but let's watch this little scrap here for 4th and 5th as they turn toward us side by side. It looks like the boat on the outside, Jean Theoret, who remarkably enough came from the trailer boat position, passed everybody, then did an extra half lap when he had to go pick up a buoy, and is going to come up with a 4th place finish here. No small accomplishment as he finishes ahead of Mike Allen in the FormulaBoats.com. So the final heat kind of went according to the racing form, but it did give us some excitement, especially in the first heat, because of the great start by J.W. Myers and the apparent ability of Jimmy King and the piston-powered U3 to run with Dave Villwock. In the end, too much driver, too much race boat.
Let's send it down to the pits and Scott Reister.
Yeah, here with Rick Swanson after that incredible win. Rick, how about that day? You start out with a flip, you end up winning the rest of the way. How are you guys feeling?
Hey, man, we are absolutely elated. That was just phenomenal. Dave just drove the pants off the boat out there, just flew it around the corner. Oh, we're just ecstatic. I mean, we didn't expect to be here after blowing over, but you know, here we are. So, I mean, what can we say? This is just awesome.
All right, we're waiting for Villwock. He's pulled in right now. We'll try to get a word with him in just a moment, as Dave Villwock is now a 3-repeat champion here on the Columbia River. Back to you, Mark and Steve.
You know, Steve, we keep track of wins and losses.
Scott, if you can hear me, grab the guy behind you, Sven Elstrom, who is the patriarch of that family and a delightful guy to talk to. He doesn't usually get very excited, but he might be right now. So, Scott, if you're able to do that, just give us the heads up and we will throw it back to you. Dave Villwock is going to take a victory lap with the hatch open as he comes into the pit area, but he'll be down there with you shortly. A lot of happiness in certainly one of the high-quality race teams, Mark, that we've ever seen assembled in this sport. The one run by Eric Elstrom out of Ballard, Washington. Their shop is about 2 city blocks from the Bardol Manufacturing Company, which gives them some history right there.
Well, it hasn't always been that way for the Elstrom team, though. They started out getting their lumps and bumps just like everybody else, and with the boat that debuted in 2001, the boat that won here today, they really stepped up the competition. I was going to say, we keep track of drivers' wins and losses. Now, I guess we have to start our flip and win list. We have 2 tied for the most flips and wins, and that would be Mark Evans and Dave Villwock.
Out on the race course, guys, in the truck, you can see the rescue boat going out to Jimmy King, and that's for a very good reason. Jimmy has a plane to catch, and they have figured out that if they tow the boat back into the pits, he'll miss his plane. So they're going to go out with the rescue boat and get Jimmy King off the U3 floating on the backstretch and try to get him over to the dock and to Tri-Cities International in time to catch his plane back to Michigan. This all took a little bit longer today than any of us thought it would, so I'm sure there are a few people with travel plans and things that have to be changed. So Jimmy is okay. He just needs a ride back to the pit area a little faster than he was going to get if he stayed with his race boat.
Taking a look at the rescue boat over there right now, and they'll get him off the boat and back into the pits, off over to the airport as quickly as they can.
Maybe they could put him in the official's helicopter here and take him right to TCI.
There you go. There's a possibility.
Scott, as soon as you have a driver down there, we'll throw it to you. We know there is bedlam in the pit area after a victory like this. This is the second, Mark Allen, in the history of the flip and win. My little buddy Mark Evans, who raced many times here in the Tri-Cities out of Chelan, did it once in Seattle. That boat probably had more damage internally than this one. This one landed right side up and didn't have a lot of water in the boat messing up the electrical systems or anything like that. New tail feathers, new canard, and they were off and racing. Really didn't miss a step all day.
Nope, they didn't. They sat out that heat. They had to because they were the reason for the stoppage. They got back in heat 3, and then in the final heat, and Dave just ran away from everybody but the first lap. The first lap was one of the most exciting laps, 3 abreast all the way around. Dave Villwock, J.W. Myers, and Jimmy King, and that was worth the price of admission.
We saw Dave come off the boat. He's into a cluster of media now, and fortunately we have a big, healthy youngster in there, Scott Reister, doing our reporting. He'll be among the first to get to Dave, and we'll be able to go back down there momentarily. You're looking at a shot of Jimmy King's boat. That's a replay because Jimmy is still on the boat. He's actually been taken back to the pit area in hopes that he can catch that plane. Looking at a scene now and some happiness in the pit area as well there should be. There's Dave Villwock and his wife Pam, who many times has met her victorious husband on the dock. Go ahead, Scott.
And the World Championship guys came to the aid and put the boat back together. We went out and won the next heat, and man, we had lots of power in the final. She was running great.
No, you can't say enough about your crew, can you?
No, I can't. I mean, that's what championship teams are all about. The teams that have adversity, but don't keep their head in the game. I can't say enough for that. You just got to keep your head in the game every single time.
Hey, David, at what point did you feel pretty good about bringing this thing home?
About never. It was really, really hard to see. And so, you know, Theoret was pressing there for a while. And, hey, good job. Good job. Hey, Ethan. These are good luck. Yeah.
You've won here plenty of times. How's this compare?
Wow, that's awesome. To get lucky enough to really crash the boat like that and have the team be able to come back and fix it and then win again. And, you know, we logged a lot of points today, so it's an awesome day for our team. You know, no matter how the points works out. We got a race boat still. We get to sleep this week. We haven't slept for a few weeks, so we probably won't be near as itchy. So, like I said, I just can't say enough about the Elstrom family and Eric and the job. He's a brilliant guy, and he's done so much to keep this team at the level that it is. He set out to win another championship, and I don't know if we can do it or not, but we're going to try.
Take us through the last race. How'd you get out in front by so far?
Hey!
Pretty good.
The guys like this that are behind us that help us get everything we need.
The only thing I swept the floor. And I emptied the dumpster. Okay.
He's a brilliant guy himself. He's fathered an unbelievable company with an unbelievable group of people and family, and I'm just happy to be part of them.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to have you, okay? Fine. Yeah, if you put it there,
All right, guys.
That was Sven Elstrom coming into your picture there, Scott. Interesting character. Hey, great job down there, young man. Nice day. It was a long day, I know, but you really performed well. We're looking now at some replay action from the final heat. That's J.W. Myers running inside of Jimmy King, and at this point, well, now he is. I was going to say that Dave Villwock hadn't been a big factor, but here he comes.
Yeah, what a great shot. 200 miles an hour, those guys halfway up the backstretch, and the 1 or 2 boat lengths separating each one of them. That's the kind of racing that we come to see. It's the kind of racing we've come to expect from unlimited hydroplanes.
And look at that piston boat go. That thing is just incredible. And here is Villwock now under control, coming down to take the checkered flag. And another victorious day for the Elstrom family. They had the high points lead until they ran into some trouble in Valleyfield and broke their boat. Whether they can recover and get back to the top of that list with the remaining races remains to be seen. But there is no doubt that they are a quality operation, Mark Allen.
They are a great operation, and I would not count them out at this point. 2 more races left to go in the season. Next week in Seattle, and then they go to San Diego in the middle of September. So there are a lot of points yet left to be gathered, and I wouldn't count those guys out.
Well, I believe it's time to throw it down to Scott and Christine to take us the rest of the way. You have a few minutes before. We're going to go back to Scott Reister with more Elstrom action. Scott, go ahead.
Team owner Eric Elstrom, obviously all smiles. You might even catch your plane back home, huh?
No, I'm driving home. We'll be here too late.
Got it. Take us through that last lap, or was it actually previous laps that you kind of just took off and took that thing right?
You know, it was really, it was a tough race. Cooper's was pulling us down the straightaway, but I think we had a little corner speed on him. And with the U10 on the inside, it was a barn burner for about 3 laps. When Cooper's went down, it allowed us to move over a little bit. And I think U10 got hung up in some rough water. But for us, you know, to flip in the previous heat, turn the boat around, strip it, rebuild it, put it out there, and to do this is just awesome. This really makes the win awesome.
This is team owner Eric Elstrom of the Dave Villwock-driven U1 Miss Elam Plus. Does this got to rank up there all the time just for the fact that it wasn't just a Villwock driving the boat, this was you guys just working around the clock the whole time?
Oh, you know, it's a team effort, you know, crew, driver, everything, you know, and God, everyone just pulled together. I mean, these guys are awesome, and we came here to do what we wanted to do, which was defend the cup, and we defended, and we couldn't have done it. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed it 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. You know, we thought the day was over, so this is just awesome. It's just awesome.
We'll go celebrate. Lots of reasons to smile for the Villwock and Elstrom team as they are now defending champs.
Well, Mark, Dave Villwock heard there was an air show, so he wanted to be part of that. He did it all, didn't he? Got in the air, got back onto the water. The crew really did an outstanding job to put a boat through that kind of a contortion, come back and not only compete but win the thing is a remarkable team effort, and you can't overstate that fact.
And we'll look at it from above as the boats go through the first turn, and we'll see exactly how tight those boats were bunched in. See Jimmy King and looking kind of in the sun. I can see how the drivers were having a difficult time seeing with that sun angle.
Yeah, we're getting to the point up here where our monitors are almost worthless as well. And apparently that did jump up and bite Jean Theoret. He talked about how hard it was to see running into the sun. It was a spectacular sight for us because the setting sun lit up the rooster tails in an absolutely glorious way when they were down to our left. But Theoret apparently did miss a buoy at one point and have to go back and pick it up. We're looking now at a very high shot of a boat running on the race course. It's
the U1.
It is orange, apparently. The sunlight also changing the color a little bit. But that is your winner, Dave Villwock, from high above, the eye in the sky, as he was completing the laps here on his way to victory in the 2006 Atomic Cup.
Defending his championship from last year, this was the race that Dave stepped into that boat. He's had pretty good success ever since.
Now, the point that should be made is that last year at this time, the standings, the superstructure, if you will, of the sport was about like it is right now. And in Seattle, Jean Theoret got into the head of Dave Villwock and was able to hold him off and win Seafair. So we'll see what happens there when the boats go up the road to Seattle next week. If the competition is anything like it was here this weekend, and we can leave out some of the thrills and spills, it'll be another great weekend next weekend in Seattle.
Yep, that's always a great race, and everybody is looking forward to that, and we will be there. You and I will be there in one way or another, and we would invite everybody else to come over and see the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair next weekend.
Absolutely. Come and see us in Seattle. We'll do all this again. Great working with you all, crew. Great job. We enjoyed it. Let's go back to Scott and Christine to take us the rest of the way.